Hey, my name is Peter Parker, and as usual during my spider vigil in New York, I stumbled upon a new, rather peculiar villain, Toilet Man. This mysterious wrongdoer was clad in all black, with a mask adorned with toilet lids, and he sported toilet tank covers on his shoulders, creating the impression of an unbeatable foe. With his nefarious plans, he aimed to seize control of all the water and toilet resources in the city. On one cold and rainy evening, when the streets were illuminated only by lanterns and umbrellas were a must, I received news of his latest escapade, breaking into the city's water supply station, intending to flood it and threatening the population with an unprecedented deluge. My spider senses immediately tingled, and I rushed to the city center to confront this bizarre scheme. Upon my arrival, the city was already in turmoil. Streams of Toilet Man's water had flooded the streets. He stood on top, ruling over his watery kingdom. We locked eyes, and his laughter echoed through the city, like a storm in a toilet bowl. Our aquatic battle began. I swung across rooftops, evading his watery attacks. Toilet Man was no easy opponent. He created water barriers, attempted to cleanse me with hot water, and hurled toilet lids like throwing discs, making his attacks unpredictable. Each of his moves was like a rapid water flow unpredictably attacking me. But of course, I, Spider-Man, wasn't about to give up. Using my web and spider strength, I created defensive barriers, deflecting his watery assaults. Our entire struggle became a peculiar aqua ballet, where the water became my dancing partner. However, at some point, just when it seemed like I was winning, Toilet Man decided to pull out his final trick. Extending his water hose, he tried to completely flood me. The battle reached its climax, and in that moment, I realized something extraordinary was needed to stop his aquatic whims. Focusing all my spider energy, I created a massive web that nullified his water attack. The water dispersed into thousands of droplets, and Toilet Man found himself literally entangled in a spider's web. I seized the opportunity to knock him off the water tower, delivering him into the hands of the police. A few days later, the city became dry and safe once again, and Toilet Man found himself behind bars. As Spider-Man, I continued my fight for justice and the protection of my city from any threats. thank you very much for watching the video. If you like my content, subscribe to the channel. Hey, folks! Today, I'm going to tell you the story of how I, an ordinary guy named Peter Parker, turned into Spider-Man and became part of this crazy world of heroes and villains. It all started on that day when I was walking to university as usual. Scientific experiments in the genetics lab turned into something extraordinary. A bite from a radioactive spider transformed my life into a kaleidoscope of events. The first thing I noticed was the incredible strength and agility. My senses heightened, and my muscles turned into spring coils. Once I mastered my new abilities, I decided to put them to use for the greater good. Thus, Spider-Man was born, a fighter against evil in a world where ordinary people face extraordinary threats. My first battles with crime were awkward and amusing, but over time, I learned to use my web not only for cool stunts, but also for catching criminals. The suit became an integral part of my identity, symbolizing my choice to fight for justice. But, of course, it wasn't all that simple. My life was not black and white. Encounters with powerful enemies like the Green Goblin and Dr. Octopus pushed me to the edge. And when Venom, the dark imprint of my past, crossed my path, I realized that dark secrets also lurk inside me. The fight with Venom became not only a battle with an external enemy, but an internal struggle. I learned to acknowledge my mistakes and found the strength within me to stand on the side of good. It was tough, but as they say, with great power comes great responsibility. So, I became Spider-Man, the hero of Arachnopolis. My city knows that when a cry for help echoes in the night, I'll be swinging forward, ready for a new challenge. Somewhere between the skies and the streets, I am Spider-Man, a champion of justice and a guardian of order. It was a regular evening in Arachnopolis, as I, Spider-Man, climbed to the top of a tall skyscraper, feeling the gentle breeze against my costume. The city below sparkled with lights, and I, as always, was ready for a new adventure. But this evening promised to be special. Shadows around me grew denser, and in the distance, the glints of ominous magic flickered. Emerging from the shadows was Arcanium, a villain with a dark heart and magic capable of altering reality. His gaze was filled with hatred, and my web tingled, anticipating the impending battle. Our encounter unfolded on the rooftop of an old building where the city's hustle seemed like a distant echo. Arcanium proved to be a worthy adversary. His incantations unleashed whirlwinds of darkness, attempting to engulf me. My agility and spider powers allowed me to evade his attacks and respond with strikes of my own. Yet, he transported us to his distorted realm, where reality danced to his whims. Arcanium's illusions around me grew more intricate, but I refused to surrender. My will was as strong as spider silk, and I carved a path through his darkness. In a moment of infinite illusions, we shifted to an underground labyrinth, where each turn presented a new challenge. The kaleidoscope of Arcanium's magical threads clashed with my web, creating an aerial ballet of entwined movements. Every strike, every motion became a part of this epic confrontation. Despite his magical arenas and paradoxes, my combat experience and spider fighting skills became my weapons. The strength of will, rooted in the desire to protect my city, gave me the power to persist despite all difficulties. Finally, in the dark depths of the dungeon, I deciphered his schemes and penetrated his vulnerabilities. Arcanium's magic succumbed to the might of Spider-Man. The villain was defeated, and I stood, victorious in this thrilling battle. The city, freed from dark shadows, shone with a new light, and I proudly continued my mission as Arachnopolis' defender. The evening came to an end, but my warrior's path continued, and every new night brought fresh challenges, where I, Spider-Man, stood ready to defend my city. Hello, my loyal listeners and fans of Spider Tales. Today, let me tell you about one of the most thrilling days in my life as Spider-Man. Sit back and relax, because this story is going to be incredible. It all started, as usual, on a hot summer day in the heart of New York City. I swung from rooftop to rooftop, ready to feel the adrenaline, but my spider sense was tingling with something unusual. The forces of darkness were manipulating reality, and it seemed I had encountered an enemy I had never seen before. I noticed these strange cubic scrolls scattered throughout the city, like traces of the mysterious magic block. All I knew about him was that his magic appeared once a year, like a rotating block season. But this time, there was something special about it. I, Spider-Man, instantly headed to the scene as soon as my spider senses identified the point of disturbance. And there I was, on the hot trail of the mysterious magic block, a cubic wizard with a virtual web that I couldn't even see. Caught in his virtual traps, cubic structures changed, and I was literally fighting with blocks. Magic Block was playing his cubic game with me, summoning block monsters and altering reality at his whim. What was most interesting is that he had a cubic sense of humor. For every spider trick I pulled, he came up with his blocky joke. But I knew this was no time for laughter. The city was in danger. So, our cubic showdown began. Webs were swinging in the air. Cubic explosions and magical illusions created unreal pictures. Magic Block tried to elude me, creating portals and transforming the surrounding world. I felt that every step I took could be my last, and I couldn't afford to make a mistake. But finally, thanks to my spider instincts and the cunning I seem to have picked up from the old goblin, I found a weakness in his defense. With a couple of clever tricks and cubic webs, I neutralized his magic and returned the city to normal. Magic Block disappeared into a cubic portal, leaving behind only mysterious scrolls. Perhaps it was his farewell magic. Nevertheless, New York was safe, and I could once again soar to my rooftop, leaving this cubic nightmare behind. And that, my dear listeners, concludes one of the most exciting chapters in the Spider-Man saga. Don't forget to stay vigilant, because there's always something happening in this city. Look forward to the next adventure, and remember, the web is always ready to unravel new mysteries. Just another day in my spider's life, and you won't believe the story that unfolded today. The inmates from the prison decided to orchestrate a massive escape using high-tech devices that, it seems, they stole from some brilliant inventor. As soon as I heard about it, I swiftly left my favorite coffee shop to meet these troublemakers. Spider threads propelled me to the rooftops, where I witnessed them attempting to take control of high-tech drones that someone inexplicably kept in the prison. Realizing quickly that they were planning something significant, I decided to thwart their ominous plans. Confronting the fugitives on the rooftop, our cubic battle began. They used technologies I hadn't even dreamed of, but my spider agility and experience in dealing with criminals helped me in this situation. In the end, with the artistry of webs and a bit of cubic humor, I tied them up in patterns of spider silk and then left a little message for the police, attaching it to the wall. It was just another day in my unusual life, a spider's life in New York. And these amusing things happen when you're Spider-Man.